A recruiter's job is to get attention of a candidate or a client at any one time. Anyone can go out and find any job they want themselves if they really put the time in. But a really strong recruiter can open up the door to that hiring manager in minutes, perhaps, But building your personal brand gives you a one-to-many strategy. If you want to carry on working like it's 1999 forever, I don't want to work with you. There's two things to think about, right? There's the audience, and then there's what you say to them. Do you know someone who could do this job? They'd be like, what? What's your name? Let's chat first before you start. Ultimately believe that your product is your candidates. Clients will want to work with you if you've got the best candidates. If you just focus in one space consistently, you might have a short-term pain, but you'll have a long-term gain.
Hello, Sean. Welcome to the Hiring on All Cylinders podcast. How are you doing?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me on. It's been a few years since we saw each other.
Yeah, time's flown. We were just talking, and seems like our lives have completely changed since.
Yeah, 2019. I think the world was a different place back then, though, right?
Yeah, I think we're just getting old. We're looking back, and back in my day, that'll be us soon.
Getting there.
So, Sean, you're becoming a legend, or already are a legend in this branding space. And it's very clear that, personal brand is becoming more and more important to build. For people, it's a way of building an audience, building passive income, finding jobs, lots of benefit. And I think people are really starting to catch on to this. You've been on this wave for a long time. So I wanted to get your point of view really of why you think building a personal brand is important and what problem is that solving for in your eyes?
Okay, so if we specifically focus this on a recruiter, right? And not whether there be an agency or an in-house recruiter, I think it's the same. Ultimately, a recruiter's job is to get attention of a candidate or a client at any one time. So you're spending your day trying to get people to reply to you, trying to get people to speak to you on the phone, trying to get people to answer the phone. You're ultimately there to do a job, and that is to attract candidates and, if you're on the agency side, open up clients as well, or vice versa. So I think if we start with the end goal, which is to build a business around, candidate attraction, client attraction, the kind of the best recruiters in any marketplace are those that have a strong network. They're the people that already know a big pool of really high quality candidates on the candidate side, and on the client side, they already have access to the hiring managers. They already have the relationships. Anyone can go out and find any job they want themselves if they really put the time in. But a really strong recruiter can open up the door to that hiring manager in minutes, perhaps. Someone could say, I'd love to work for Talentful, and I could be like, well, I know Chris. I'll just message him for you. It's that simple. Equally, anyone can sit there and try and recruit any role for their company, but the best talent, if you get a recruiter with the relationships, they've already got it. They go, well, yeah, I'll get you 5 .NET developers on your desk tomorrow morning, all with the skills you want. Just chill out. I've been networking with these guys for the last few years. So I think if we all agree on that to be the best recruiter, you need to be the most networked, and you obviously need knowledge and experience and all these things to be brilliant at the job. All we're saying is taking, your personal brand is an online version of your offline self. So if you're really good at all these things, why, if you take the same information and the same style online, you can get an infinitely greater opportunity. So if you've got 5,000 connections on LinkedIn, you can get the attention of 5,000 people for free, plus their connections, through your content, through your strategy. You can every single day be seen and heard by people that you couldn't necessarily get around on the phone or via email. There's so many people in your network today, everyone listening to this, that could be candidates or could be clients, could be some useful person for you this year that you're probably not speaking to, that you're not making the most of. So I believe it's about scaling yourself. Think about companies from day one have had one-to-many and one-to-one strategies. You have outbound people phoning people, but you also have marketing, email strategies. You have online, social, job adverts. There's one-to-one and one-to-many. But building your personal brand gives you a one-to-many strategy, which you've never had before. Recruiters have never had it. They've always been reliant on how many calls they can make, how many emails they can send. Now, one post that takes you 10 minutes to create could go viral, could get you 1 million views, could get you 1,000 views, could get whatever. But it gets you attention. And then the attention, it's not a vanity project. Again, if you just want to get a lot of likes and dopamine, crack on. But that's not why we're doing it. the attention makes you unforgettable, makes you recognizable. So that when you do reach out to people, you get response rates that are much higher. You have gravitas. People are interested in speaking to you. Think about it this way, right? You know who Stephen Bartlett is, right?
Yep.
Everyone knows him over the last few years. But Stephen Bartlett got to Dragon's Den not because he sold Social Chain, but because of his personal brand, right? Steve, last month, before Christmas, Stephen put an advert up saying he wanted an intern to fly around the world with him, pay themselves to do it. And he had over 900 applicants in an hour, right? In fact, 9,000 applicants in an hour. That was the data. 9,000 applicants in 1 hour would pay for themselves to travel the world with him. Why? And that sounds like the worst job in the world for an up-and-coming creative. But because it's Stephen Bartlett, if he sent you a message today going, hey, I've got a job opportunity I want to talk to you about, like you'd reply. So personal brands give you a level of gravitas. They give you a level of attention and reach and recognition that you just can't get any other way. It's impossible.
And I've been thinking a lot about kind of future trends at the moment, especially when it comes to, we're seeing huge amounts of disruption with technology, AI, automation. That seems to be the big thing. But I think one of these trends is like, this fractional work, or people building their own brand and business and kind of moving away from corporate kind of life and corporate attachment. How do you feel? Do you think that this is a shift? This shift of people building personal brands and personal audiences that they can sell to, that they can, leverage. Do you think we're going to start seeing much more kind of solo entrepreneurs, or do you how do you think this is going? Because at some point, what we're seeing, I'm sure you've seen this too, is the individual is almost becoming more well known than the company they're working for. How do you think it's all going to play out? Do you see a trend?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that not everyone needs to be. I mean, I mentioned Stephen Bartlett as a good example, but not everyone needs to be the Stephen Bartlett. So you don't want a whole workforce of Stephen Bartletts. That's probably a dangerous company to own. But what you do want is, you want every individual in your business adding value, contributing, building awareness, engagement, and being social and connecting on a platform that allows. What that will create, though, there's definitely going to be, the gig economy ain't going anywhere anytime soon. There's going to be more people taking their own skills online and then selling them and supporting other people. Equally, building a brand is so important for your next job and your next opportunity and your next gig. So, like, if you're a good recruiter offline, you're going to get more opportunities if you're the same recruiter but with a bigger presence online. Like, more people are going to know who you are, going to want to talk to you, going to want to work with you. But I do think if you look at the world we were referring to 2019 to now, it's infinitely different. So many people now. I'm sat in my garden home. It looks like a cool office, but this is in my garden. I'm 10 seconds away from my wife and baby that are hopefully cooking my food right now. My baby's not cooking food. That'd be a bit weird. But
child labor.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone that. But how many people now can perform their role from anywhere and want to add value to more people, to more companies at once? They don't really want to be attached to one business or one role when they could be earning more by doing a fraction of the work for multiple different organizations. I think that the fluidity that COVID has created is exciting. It's mental, but that's not for everyone either. There's still going to be people that prefer the safety net. They want a job. They want to go to an office. They want to get in the car. They want a 9 to 5. Like, there's still those people. I just think the people that are now taking advantage of the modern way of working or the newer way of working, they were just unhappier in the old world. Do you know what I mean? I used to go to my recruitment business when I was, at the peak of my recruitment career. And I remember thinking, I'd fucking love to do this from home one day a week. And I remember once I had like a builder come round. I just bought a house. I was doing some renovation. And I know my bosses found it a bit weird. They were like, what? I was like, I'll work the whole day from home. You've given me a laptop. What do you think it's for? Like, I'll do my job. And they're like, bearing in mind I'm the top billing consultant they've ever had. Like, I've never had a sick day. Like, you should be trusting me right now. But it was just, culturally, it was just a bit weird. Whereas those people existed. They just didn't have the flex. Now those people are going, boom. Whereas there's still a lot of people that just like getting in the car, on the train, and doing the day as they were, and they're still there as well. So I think that answers your question. I think it's definitely a trend. Definitely a trend.
And at Hoxo, are you typically getting individuals come to you, or are companies coming to you to train their teams?
Yeah, it's definitely the way it works is we're a B2B led product. So we we would sell to an individual, but they're going to pay. It's not a cheap product. I don't want to be a cheap product. We're not aiming at that individual buying it for like 500 quid or whatever. So it's a B. The way our business works is we sell to a company and they enroll their teams. So it's and every time they hire, they put those people on, and we have a consistent flow of people from the clients that we work with. Equally, though, we do have some people that will pay the money for themselves, or we have a lot of startups and one-man bands and small organizations. Obviously, the price goes up as the more people you put on it. But yeah, we are purely a B2B led organization.
And so when those companies are coming to you, like, what's their big incentive, or why are they incentivized? Like, what are they thinking when they come to you? And do you need to educate them? Is there hesitance? Like, what's the motivation you see for these companies coming to you? Talentful provides flexible recruiting solutions to the world's most ambitious companies. Are you thinking about ways to add flexibility to your talent function? With recent market volatility and hiring set to return to growth mode in the near future, there's never been a better time to choose the right partner to help you scale. Talentful's embedded sourcing, recruiting, coordination, and talent advisory services have been trusted by the world's leading brands. Companies such as Atlassian, Microsoft, Expedia, Pinterest, Waymo, and more. Whether you're hiring across engineering, go-to-market, or G&A, Talentful has got you covered. To find out how Talentful can help you, visit talentful.com.
Really good question. So there's a number of things. Firstly, the money they spend and time they spend on LinkedIn, they're aware that it's a huge investment in their business. And often they look, whether I've alerted them or someone's alerted them, that their training material is all geared towards the phone. So you've got a business that has pivoted so far, like one way towards online recruitment, really, like sending messages, emails, spending hours and hours on a day on LinkedIn. Yet all the training material is on how to pick up the phone and influence and sell. And it's great. That shouldn't go anywhere. But you got this big vacuum of time now, and this huge cost on LinkedIn Recruiter that isn't being maximized. So there's that. There's majority though see me, because all of our businesses come from my brand and now the team around me. We get like 1 million views a month on LinkedIn. So people see it, they know who we are, they follow, they engage, they consume. And then when the time's right, they will reach out. And that might be that they actually say, I want to speak to you, or they'll want to come to one of our events, or they'll download something for free, or they'll consume something that triggers us, that tells us who they are. And we will then have an outbound team that will pick up the phone and say, hey, like, why were you on our free session today? Like, what was the motivation? And it's always they want to make more money. They want to, they want to make more placements. They want to be more recognized. They want to get ahead. And if you want to carry on working like it's 1999 forever, I don't want to work with you. Like we don't really have those really old school bash the phone only type people in our client base. Like if we have to convince you, then you're not the right client. All we have to show you is our track record. We work with 500 agencies, 6,000 recruiters in 3 years. Like we've delivered millions in revenue for those people. Look at them online. They're completely transformed who they are. They get all their business from LinkedIn. So like it's a very visual product that we can go, look at these 5 people, for example, that do exactly what you do, but they do it better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the other kind of proof points is how you've grown your own personal brand during that time as well.
Well, exactly.
You kind of walked the walk and shown how it's done as well, and that it is achievable, which is, I mean, if I was buying a product, you kind of want to see that they know what they're talking about and they've done it before themselves.
Well, that's the thing. The amount of people who say, like, Sean, how can you guarantee this will work? Well, why are we here? Like, you've come to me. I didn't know you were. Like, you've followed me online. You've watched me. You've come to the conclusion that you want to work with me. Like, that's proof in the pudding itself. Like, we wouldn't be here if I didn't do this. If I was just sat there outbound cold calling, but presenting something that I thought would work. And look, Hoxo as a business, we've been around for 7 years. Since day one, I've been doing this. So I I believed in the change that was coming on LinkedIn, even back then when no one was doing it. And I knew I had to be the change that I believed was coming, and I had to get ahead of it. And it was uncomfortable at the start. Every one of my friends used to be like, "Why are you so active online? Like, what are you going on about?" And I was just like, "Look, this is happening. This will change." And I believe I believe pre-pandemic it was going well, but it's absolutely accelerated since, because overnight we were separate. We had to find a better way of connecting with each other.
Absolutely.
And, all these video platforms and podcast, everything just exploded. But I'd spent 3 years investing in my brand and knowledge and experience in that pre-pandemic state. So,
yeah, I mean,
I think it was a good time.
I mean, it's really like the crux of it is just distribution, isn't it? It's like the bigger your audience, the more you can distribute your product or your persona. And you're seeing, I mean, the thing that's I think is really interesting is the influencers that you're seeing, how they're building their audiences and then they're selling products to those audiences. And that's, I think, a really good example of like how it can transfer to recruiting as well. Whether your end goal is to win clients or get more candidates, that audience and the distribution, like you said, scaling yourself is the future. It's where it's going. And if you don't build that audience, I think you're going to get left behind.
100%. Literally, there's two things to think about, right? There's the audience, and then there's what you say to them. Because if you think about, if you've got a smaller audience, you're literally shouting into a dark room. But even if you've got a big audience, if you're just promoting jobs, like 90% of this industry, it's a completely transactional way of working. So you say, I'm recruiting for this, and this. Let me know if you're interested. It's lazy. It's like, it's so bottom of the funnel. It's like going to a networking event with, Recruit Fest or whatever it's called, and just going up to people going, do you know someone who could do this job? Like, they'd be like, what? Like, what's your name? Like, let's chat first before you start. And I think recruiters on LinkedIn they're so focused on that one, what they need today. They can't see beyond till tomorrow. Whereas if I put a post out today that educates people and says, look, try these 3 things, I reckon it'll help you, help me. Let's say 5,000 people consume it. Let's say 200 people do it. I'm making these numbers up, by the way, but for argument's sake, those 200 people might not reach out to me. They might just go away and do what I've told them to do for a month. Some of them might go well, some might not go well, whatever. But I don't know exactly what's going to come. But I believe, because I've got enough experience now, that at some point in the future, that's going to pay me back. They're going to like my stuff, engage with my stuff. They're going to message me. They're going to say thanks for that. And I'm starting to lay foundations for the future. Every day I get messages, Sean, I love the podcast. I love this. I love that. Thanks so much for this. And half of these people, it's 2 years ago or it's a year ago that they actually got triggered by something. And it's took them that long to come through. But I still do the daily transactional stuff I need to do. I still message people. I still follow up. I still try and close my deals. And as a company, we're very much in the detail daily, but we're constantly shooting over the top, talking for next week's roles or next week's business. And so it's a debate in our sector about that short and long-term mindset. I think if you only try and fill the job today you've got, you're missing out. Because if you can recycle candidates on an ongoing basis and have a stream of the right top talent in a very specific area coming to you as a person of choice, your job will it's just so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so to kind of take a step back again, you have the companies coming to you and introducing you to their teams. What are the biggest kind of hurdles for people to start this process?
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people really want to do this, but they get hung up. They don't know where to start. They feel too.
3 things.
Yeah. Where do people get hung up?
3 things. Number 1 is, don't know where to start. They literally have no idea what to write about. So they look at LinkedIn and they think, I'd love to speak, but what do I do? Like, where do the ideas come from? How do I write it? And they get blinded by a lot of what other people write, and they go, I don't like that, so I won't do that. And I don't really like what that guy did. It's like going into a restaurant and seeing the first 3 people's table and all the food on their plates and going, I'm not eating in here. I don't like what they're having. It's like, well, there's a menu there. You can eat other things, right? So you don't have to write what Johnny wrote, who was in a mood the day he wrote it. Like, you don't have to copy it. So the first thing is they don't know what to do. Once you give them a process, the next problem then is confidence. People worry about, how is this going to go down? How are they going to be perceived? Will people not want to work with me? Will people disagree with me? Will people troll me. There's so much fear involved. And also it's like fear of public rejection. People think if I post and no one engages, everyone knows I've done that. I look like I'm crap at my job. Or I mean, it's nonsense, but it's true. It really you know what? Offline comments can also be very damaging. So it take a while to build confidence, and then someone in your office can snigger about a post and not make you want to do it again. So, that is a real problem. And then the third one is time. So people think when they don't know what to do, and they're like, well, I'm gonna have to sit down and really think about this. When are you finding that time when you're running around running a desk? Like it feels a luxury. So what we do is we give people a plan that covers all those things. So we give them a very clear step-by-step plan to build your audience, engage the audience, drive leads, and write your content, everything in there. But we also give them the support and guidance to follow through, so they can literally send us a message saying, what do you think of this post? How do I structure it? Like that lasts for 12 months. They've got a proactive account management function, which will work with them on it. And we give them the guidance of how to put the slots in the diary to get the work done. And realistically, we see 30 minutes is about enough time to do everything you need to do on a given day. And if you're doing 3 days a week, we call it the 3X system, 3 30-minute slots. So the time argument goes a bit out the window. When people are spending that time scrolling LinkedIn, reading complete nonsense, it's just about actually being more focused with the time. No one can say to me, I can't find 30 minutes on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, of course you can. We're not completely utilizing our time. Everyone procrastinates and reads a lot of crap online. So it's those three. They come up time and time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. And do you were talking earlier about this kind of short-term mindset versus long-term. And I think in recruiting, actually, like a lot of the stuff you're taught is the people who do well, I think, realize that it's a lot of the things you're doing now pay dividends in the future, whether it's, adding managers to a system or candidates or building relationships, whatever. It's not necessarily going to pay off immediately, but the people who do it routinely, day in, day out, years down the track, 2 years, end up being the most successful people, but they might not get, their first year might be crap. I guess it's similar to what you're saying here. Do you typically see, if people stick with this consistently, they do this 3X system, when they start seeing real traction, or is it different for everyone? Do you typically give a guideline?
I think everyone will see, returns at different stages, but we have a 6-week period that we intensely coach people for, and you'll see results within 6 weeks, like given without a doubt, and that will be in the form of more engagement, more reach, but also more conversations that you're driving, which is candidates and clients, or both, or vice versa. Your ability to then convert that and do what that's on you, right? But we'll really focus on driving the opportunities. And we say, you should be getting 50 warm leads a week. And a warm lead is someone that has shown some form of interest in you, and you can guarantee they know who you are. Like, it's without a doubt, within 48 hours, you can strike and they know who you are. And they the response rates are through the roof. So if you're getting 50 leads a week, following up on every week, by week 6, then, you can see the journey you're going on. And if people don't get it, we'll give them the money back, because if it's down to our failure and this process isn't working, we never do, because it's always down to people's effort. If they don't, it's like the gym. If you go to the gym 3 times a week, every week, and you eat the right foods, you're gonna get in shape. Like, it's just gonna happen. But if you go once a week and then you get drunk all weekend and you eat pizza 3 days a week, like, you're not gonna see the change. So, we give you the guidelines, we give you the plan, we know how it's gonna work, we give you the support, the guidance, but ultimately, all results, recruitment results, fitness results, branding results, doesn't matter. It all comes from applying a proven method consistently over time.
Yeah. I think it totally makes sense. And, even myself, personally being more consistent, you see a massive uptick. One of the things that, I know that you're in the agency space a lot, and you work with people who have got the dual side of what they're looking to increase engagement wise. They've got the candidates, but they've also got the customers. I mean, I've seen a lot of people build up, the commercial side. So, they're well known. They're probably getting inbound leads from customers. One thing I've not seen, I don't know about your experience, if you've seen much of this, but it feels like there's a huge opportunity for individuals to build, like, if they're like, I don't know, um, they're a Java recruiter for finance in London, to really build their brand there, or build communities of candidates, even run their own events, um, do you see much of that? People going after, like, building these
Yeah.
really niche kind of candidate communities with their brand?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got loads of clients doing that. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with over 6,000 recruiters, right? And some are really interested in the client community. Some are pure candidates. Some are trying to do both, and that is the hardest bit when you're trying to do both. But I do believe every candidate becomes a client at some point, and vice versa. Like, you've got to look at them as, someone loses a job and they become a candidate. So you got to treat everyone in a certain way. But if you ultimately believe that your product is your candidates, clients will want to work with you if you've got the best candidates. Like, if you're saying, look, I am literally connected to every .NET developer in London in the, I don't know, fintech space, why wouldn't a client want to work with you? Like, you literally, they're stupid to not want to work with you, right? And that only comes from investing in that candidate community and getting to know them, becoming friends with them, running events, having online channels. There's a guy I know who's running a program at the moment, like how to get a job in Dubai. I was literally with him last week, and I'm helping him with that. And he's got, like, something like 3,000 candidates that he's coaching to get work in the region. It's no surprise that even though he's coaching them how to get work, that he's the one getting most of them work at the end of it. But even if he doesn't, he's giving them the stepping stones to getting their own jobs as well. But he's becoming that go-to guy for, sourcing work, technology candidates finding work in the region. But it just takes a strategy. I think the more niche you can be with your strategies, the better. People don't want to do that in a lot of businesses. They're so scared to give away. Well, I used to recruit that, and I've done a few deals in that. It's like, yeah, but if you just focus in one space consistently, you might have a short-term pain, but you'll have a long-term gain. You'll do. That's why I don't go outside of recruitment, because I'm like, yeah, technically what I teach would work for an estate agency or a tech sales team or whatever, but I've literally got a completely 100% inbound business built from focusing in one space, and I love it, and I'm happy with it, and it gives me fulfillment rather than trying to do a bit in lots of different areas. I just know it would be purely replicable for the right person.
And so, before we wrap this up, this has been really insightful. If you could give one recommendation, like the most impactful thing someone could do if they're thinking about starting, they're listening to this podcast and they're like, fuck, I really should start. I really am motivated to start. What do you see as the most impactful thing, or maybe there's several things, that people could do to get the most success from building their brand?
There's three things. So it's, number one is grow your audience. So strategically connect to the right people. Like, day in, day out, you've got to be looking at LinkedIn and focusing on connecting to the audience that you want to be connected to. And you can have 30,000 connections, and most people haven't got it. And so go and get it. LinkedIn allows you to do it. Go and do it. The second thing is nurture those connections one to many. So go out there and talk to them, like put out content, share your thoughts a couple of times a week, and just take the conversations you're already having. Like, don't overthink it. Take the stuff that you're saying on the phone, and share stories about, like, this happened today. It works. And then the third thing is work the engagement. So if people are liking your posts or commenting on your posts or viewing your profile, there's a few areas that they're showing interest. But if you follow up, send them a message, engage with them, comment on their posts, like their stuff, it'll work. Now, as I said, I've got the 3X system. It works. That is that. But on a higher level, you can do that yourself. I've actually got a free course, it's called a warm leads course. It's completely free. I can give you a link to attach to this episode if you want, that people can go on, and it's something. It basically will teach them how to do a very basic version of it for nothing, and they can go in and they can watch my little videos and they can do it themselves. So if they want that, I'll give you the link. Go and give it a go.
Absolutely, that'd be awesome. And to wrap stuff up, before I ask where people can find you, what are you most excited about when it comes to recruiting? and the future of recruiting?
I suppose I've always believed that great recruiters are really valuable, and I think the more the market shifts online, even today, LinkedIn literally, I verified my account on LinkedIn today. I don't know if you've done it yet, but you've got to scan your passport. And, I didn't, I'd been away, I did it today. And I'm like, it's another step towards that quality benchmark. And I think our industry's been so like Wild West for years, where people can just enter the industry with no qualifications and sling shit around the market and cause problems. And I think it's given us a terrible name. But now, there's so many ways for people to know if you're not doing a good job or to find out if you are. I just think it's becoming more professional. It's becoming more credible. People are more proud to do it. The amount of people who would almost not want to tell you they're a recruiter, like say it under their breath or whatever. I even remember I used to be a school teacher who got a job in recruitment in Melbourne when I went traveling. And I used to say to people on nights out, like, oh, yeah, I'm a teacher, but I work in recruitment over here. And I didn't commit to it being my job title. Like I think it's got this stigma that I believe is starting to disappear. People are proud. They're building great careers. They're making great money. They're helping people. They're doing it for the right reasons. So these are all the things I've been planning or thinking about for years. I believe it's starting to come true.
Love that. Love that. And to wrap up, where can people find you? We will put a link to that free course for sure, and obviously links to all your areas. But where can people find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is the place, right? I mean, you can email me if you want, Sean, sean@hoxonmedia.com, but LinkedIn, I'm on there every day. I'm posting every day. I'm always giving away free advice for recruiters. So if you can either connect with me or follow me, depending on how many connections. I'm literally at nearly 30,000 now, so I'm being selective with who I accept. But if you follow me or drop me a note, then that's the best place.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Sean, and catch you soon.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.